All right, people, this is the solutions to the Edulastic assignments. The first one says find the volume of a cylinder with a radius of 4.2 and a height of 14. So the formula to find the volume of a cylinder is volume equals pi r squared times the height. So we have 3.14 times, so then 4.2 squared is going to be 17.64 times the height is going to be 14. So now if we just multiply all this out, so times 14 times 3.14, and we get 775.45, which is this choice right here. All right. Next one. Find the volume of a cylinder with a radius of 6 and a height of 12. So same thing. So volume equals pi r squared times the height. So it's 3.14 times 36 times 12. So that's going to give us 1,356.48. So 1,356.48 rounded to the nearest tenth is right here. Next one, find the volume of a cone with a radius of 2 and a height of 7. So the formula to find the volume of a cone is going to be volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. So let's first find the area of the base. So it's a circle with a radius of 2. So to find the area of a circle, we do pi r squared. So 3.14 times the radius squared before, that's 12.56. So I'm left with 1/3 times 12.56 times the height of 7. So let's do 12.56 times 7, and then we'll divide that by 3, and we get 29.3. So that's right here. Next one, find the height of a cylinder with a volume of 495 and a radius of 5 inches. So here we go. We're finding the volume of a cylinder. Volume equals pi r squared times the height. Let's fill in what we know. So 495 equals 3.14 times the radius is 5. So 5 squared is 25 times the height. So now let's do this right here. I'm going to get 78.5. H on that side, we have 495 on this side. Now obviously to get this H by itself, we have to divide both sides by 78.5. So let's do that. 495 divided by 78.5 gives us 6.3. 6.3. Perfect. Next one. Find the volume of a rectangular pyramid with a base length of 7 inches by 3.5 inches. So our pyramid is going to, if we look at it from the top, it's going to have a rectangle. It's going to be shaped like a rectangle. So it's going to be 7 times 3.5. All right. So now we can find the area of that just by multiplying them together, which is 24.5. All right. So now back to the formula to find the volume of a pyramid. It's volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. Well, I just found the area of the base here. So we have volume equals 1/3 times 24.5 times the height is 15. So if I multiply this all out, I'm going to, multiply it all out. So 24.5 times 15 equals, divided by 3 is 122.5. So for this, I would just do, really, you could just do 1/3 times 15, which means 1/3 of 15, which is 5. And then 5 times 24.5 gave us this 122. Next up, so find the volume of a sphere with a radius of 11 centimeters. So volume of the sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So let's fill in what we know. So it's 4/3 times 3.14 times 1,331. So now we can just multiply, again, pretend these are all ones underneath there. So let's do 4 times 3.14 times 1,331. And that's going to give us a big number. It's going to give us 16,717.36. If I multiply the denominators together, it gives me 3. So just divide this by 3, and we'll get 5,572. Perfect. Next up, the radius of a cylinder with a volume of 625 and a height of 10. So here we go. we're given the volume. So volume of a cylinder, volume equals pi r squared times the height. The volume is 625 times 3.14 times radius squared times the height of 10. So let's multiply these two together. All right, and we're going to get 31.4 r squared. Now let's divide both sides by 31.4. So I'm left with 625 divided by 31.4. And that's going to give us 19.9 equals r squared. But remember, I don't want to know what r squared is. I want to know what r is. So I'm going to I'm going to find the square root of both sides. So the square root of r squared is r, and the square root of 19.9 is going to be 4.5. All right. Next up, what's the volume of a hemisphere with a radius of 19 millimeters? So the formula to find the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. But since we're dealing with a hemisphere, we can just do this, 2/3 pi r cubed. Because remember, a hemisphere is half of a sphere. So we'll just do 2/3 times 3.14 over 1 times, we have to do 19 cubed. So 19 cubed is going to be 6,859. So 6,859, right? So really, you can just multiply these together and just divide by 3. That's essentially what we're doing. So 6,859 times 3.14 times 2 equals 43,000. And then we're going to divide that by 2. We'll get 21,000 and change, and that's not the answer. No, did I divide it by 2? I'm sorry, I supposed to divide by 3. 6,859, did that on purpose, by the way, times 3.14 times 2 equals that 43,000. I'm dividing that by 3. I get 14,358. All right, so round your answer to the nearest tenth, the area of a circle with a radius of 6.1. So the formula to find the area of a circle is going to be pi r squared. So 3.14 times the radius squared. The radius is 6.1, so 6.1 squared is 37.21. 37.21, so I multiply that by 3.14. I'm going to get 116.8. All right, so this will be 116.8. The next one, the circumference of a circle with a radius of 12. So to find the circumference of a circle, we can use two formulas. Circumference equals pi times d, or circumference equals 2 pi r. I'm going to use this one just because we're given the radius. So circumference equals 2 times 3.14 times the radius of 12. So we multiply all that together, and we're going to get 75.36. That'll just be 75.4. Round it to the nearest tenth, 75.4. And then the last one here, Julie wants to make a clay model of the clown. She starts by making a hemisphere for the clown's head, and then she puts a cone on there. The radius of the hemisphere they give us the slant height. We have to find the surface area of the clay model. So first things first, to find the surface area of a cone, we use pi r squared plus pi r l. However, since this part is for the circular base, right? This part's for the circular base. Since we're not counting the circular base because that's covered by the hemisphere, we're not going to do this part. We're just going to do the pi r l. So 3.14 times a radius of 7 times a slant height of 16. So that gives us 351.68. So 351.68, that's the surface area of the cone. Now let's find the surface area of the hemisphere. To do that, again, the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. So for a hemisphere, it's going to be 2 pi r squared. All right, so let's do that. So 2 times 3.14 times the radius squared would be 49. So let's do, so 2 times 3.14 times 49 equals 307.72. So that's the area of the hemisphere. This is the area of the cone. Let's add them together. So plus 351.72 68, and I wind up at 659.4. So I have 659.4. Guys, if there's any questions, please email me. If I went over something too fast, just let me know, and we'll go over it again. All right?